5 minutes, please, Kevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome again, Ms. Tate, along with Mr. Goldbloom. I noticed in your opening statement, because today we invited the senior management and compensation at CBC Radio and CBC Television. So your opening statement didn't talk about the compensation. You talked about how accurate your news bureaus are, the trust that people have in you, you're based on facts, but you never talked about the $18.4 million in bonuses. So let me start there again, if you don't mind, Ms. Tate. For 2022-23 bonuses, have you received your compensation package for 22-23?
Are you talking about me personally?
I'm talking about you personally.
So just to be clear for the record, the CEO of CBC Radio-Canada does not participate in the payment plan that 1,180 people participate in.
So you haven't got it yet.
The process is different. It goes from a recommendation from the board to the minister, and from the minister to PCO. And to date, I have not heard back on that particular.
On that year. How about this year, 23-24?
Same thing.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Those bonuses are going to be tied into your exit package in January when you leave. So I think it just seems natural to me. Your fiscal year end is March. You haven't received your package. I suspect the previous 5 years you got a bonus performance-based package. You haven't received one for 22-23, 23-24, and probably 25 up to January when you leave. So my worry is we're not going to be able to scrutinize this because you're going to leave. Mr. Goldbloom and as board chair, they're going to recommend a bonus package up 2.5 years. And we won't get a shot at you coming back here in 25 to talk about it. And that's why Canadians are upset about the bonus package. And let me give you a few examples, because I did a survey of my own, and I know it's not Toronto, it may not be Vancouver, it may not be Montreal, but here's what my constituents, when I sent out, 1.4 billion a year and bonuses of 18.4 million, that's insanity. That came from Elaine. This is from Carol. I refuse to listen or watch CBC News anymore. You know the metrics in Saskatchewan. Nobody watches or listens to CBC. Here's from Dawn. Totally unfair to taxpayers and hungry folks in our country. From Trevor. Nobody I know watches or trusts CBC anymore. From Rita. Waste of taxpayers' money to fund bonuses on the executives. Should be a complete overhaul from the CEO and management. That came from Rose. Joanne, CBC has been a huge waste of taxpayers' money. To fund this as soon as possible. From Dan, as a lifelong listener, CBC has lost its ways. So we had hundreds of responses from little old Saskatoon. 80%, 86% major changes to the corporation or to fund them entirely. 86% out of Saskatoon. What do you say about those numbers?
I say I travel this country from north to west to east, and I also have hundreds, if not thousands, of positive remarks back on how important CBC Radio-Canada is in those communities that I have visited. In the north, in Yellowknife, in Whitehorse.
How about Saskatchewan?
And by the way, in Saskatoon,
Have you ever visited Saskatoon, Regina?
I have, both Saskatoon. I went to the
Excuse me,
Festival.
just 1 minute.
Okay, so
some order, please. A question was asked of the witness. Can she finish answering it, and then you can go with the other question.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would just point to, because there is a large Indigenous community in Saskatchewan, and we spend a lot of time engaging with those communities in the development of our Indigenous strategy. And I would say, across the board, I have heard only, quite frankly, a willingness to work with CBC and with Radio-Canada to change the narrative about Indigenous people in this country, something that this organization is 100% committed to.
I've got
30 seconds.
30
Kevin.
seconds left. So from your strategy, public affairs and government relations person, on average, each visitor spends 37 minutes a month on your platforms. 37 minutes a month. Ms. Tate, that is two at-issues. 37 minutes is nothing. You talk about 21 million each month are hitting your platforms. The number that stood out to me, they're on there for 37 minutes a month. It's deplorable. You're not reaching out to Canadians. 37 minutes a month. Think about that.
Thank you, Mr. Waugh. I now vote. Thank you, Mr. Waugh.